They thunder forward and collide like titans, horns crashing together in a violent clash of raw, unfiltered power. Each impact shakes the earth. Dust explodes into the air, swirling around a blur of muscle, rage, and dominance. Veins bulge, bodies strain, and still, neither yields. It's not just a fight, it's a primal war. Relentless, unforgiving. A brutal dance where only one can stand victorious. One massive blow slammed into the lion's side. In the heart of the circus ring, chaos turned savage. Without warning, the tiger struck, a blur of fury and muscle. It slammed into the lion with bone-rattling force, claws tearing, fangs flashing. In seconds, the mighty lion was on its back, pride shattered under raw power. As the tiger's jaws clamped around its throat, the crowd froze in horror. This wasn't a performance, it was a brutal takeover. The old king had fallen, a new ruler had risen, and ready to strike. In another jaw-dropping clash, a lion strutted through the tall grass, clueless to the silent shadow stalking him. Then, boom! The tiger struck like lightning, delivering a bone-crushing blow. The lion roared and retaliated, but he was too slow, too sloppy. Outpaced, outclassed, and utterly humiliated, a lion moved through the tall grass, proud and unaware. The self-proclaimed king, walking like he owned the land. But the real ruler was watching, silent, calculating. One of the most jaw-dropping moments came when a bold lion stepped up, roaring for dominance, ready to claim the land as his own. But the tiger wasn't impressed. No bluff, no hesitation, just cold, calculated power. With a low growl and eyes locked on the challenger, the tiger exploded into action. In a flash of muscle and fury, it slammed the lion to the ground, overpowering him with ruthless precision. The lion fought back, but it was too late. The tiger had already seized control. And as the dust settled, it was the tiger who stood tall, unbothered, and undisputed. The true ruler of the wild. Inside another cage, the tension was electric. Two apex predators, eyes locked, muscles coiled, the air thick with the promise of violence. But from the very start, it was clear. Only one of them owned the moment. The tiger stood tall, calm, and unshaken, a living weapon wrapped in stripes. The lion, though powerful, showed a flicker of doubt. And that was all the tiger needed. With explosive force, the tiger struck first. A flurry of crushing blows that sent the lion stumbling. Each hit landed with ruthless precision, driving the lion backward, breaking his rhythm, breaking his will. The cage rattled with the sound of claws and fury. The lion tried to push back, but the tiger was relentless, reading every move and countering with brutal efficiency. Sometimes it was the lion who struck first, Ikanon charging in with a thunderous roar, muscles rippling, pride blazing in his eyes. He came in hot, ready to dominate. But the tiger? The tiger was ice cold and locked in. No fear, no hesitation, just pure, focused fury. In a flash, the tiger unleashed hell, dodging with lightning speed, then countering with bone-crushing power. Every move was surgical, every strike devastating. The lion's confidence cracked. His roars turned to desperate growls. Pride became panic. In yet another explosive clash, the lion came in roaring, fueled by pride, strength, and the weight of his legendary status. He charged like a king, reclaiming his throne. But the tiger was ready, faster, sharper, and deadlier. With lightning reflexes, the tiger met the charge head-on, sidestepped with brutal grace, and snatched the lion mid-stride. In one fluid motion, it hurled the mighty lion to the ground with bone-shaking force. The impact echoed like thunder. Elsewhere, a lion lay resting, unaware that his worst nightmare was stalking closer with silent fury. No growl, no warning, just a blur of stripes and muscle as the tiger launched its ambush. In a flash, claws raked across the lion's face with savage precision. The impact was devastating and fast, fierce, and final. As silence settles over the plains, one truth remains unshaken. Power wears many faces. In brute strength, in unbreakable unity, in the unyielding fire to survive? Buffaloes embody it all. Time and again, they rise to the challenge, facing predators, storms, and the odds themselves. With every clash, every charge, their legend deepens. They are not just beasts of the wild, they are warriors, survivors, living symbols of resilience. They don't just endure, they define the untamed. Each strike wasn't just physical, it was psychological warfare. The tiger wasn't fighting for survival, it was putting on a display of dominance. The lion, stripped of its pride and power, didn't fight back. In another fierce showdown, a lone lion stood trapped, completely surrounded by a pack of relentless tigers. With nowhere to run and no fight left in him, the lion froze, trying desperately to avoid a brutal clash. But one tiger wasn't done. Prowling closer, slapping the lion with savage strikes, taunting him with ruthless confidence, making it clear who ruled this territory. Cornered and crushed by sheer dominance, the lion had no choice but to submit, overwhelmed and stripped of all pride. The tiger's message was brutal and clear. Here, the king falls and the tiger reigns supreme. In another brutal encounter, a lone lion stood frozen, surrounded by a gang of tigers. Outnumbered and outmatched, the lion didn't roar or charge, and it stayed still, paralyzed by the sheer force closing in. But one tiger wasn't interested in silence. It stepped forward, eyes locked, and began its assault. Slapping, taunting, daring the lion to make a move. In one savage clash, the tiger unleashed pure destruction. With lightning speed, it lunged forward, jaws clamping down on the lion's neck like a vice. Its claws tore into flesh, locking the lion in a grip of pain and dominance. The lion roared and thrashed, muscles straining, but there was no escape, no mercy. The cage shook with the chaos, but the outcome was never in doubt. This wasn't just a fight, because it was a lesson written in blood. Crowns mean nothing when the claws come out. It couldn't. Surrounded, humiliated, and hopeless, it submitted. Not with a roar, but with silence. Not even the lionesses were safe. In one heart-pounding encounter, a fierce tiger burst through the thick underbrush, eyes locked on a lioness who stood her ground without flinching. With a thunderous swipe of its massive paw, the tiger sent a powerful message echoing through the wild. This was no game, no truce. The tiger had come to dominate, and it wasn't backing down for anyone. Undeniable power. And in that moment, the tiger proved exactly who holds it. In the wild, there are no scripts and no handouts. Kings aren't born. They're made in the heat of battle. Every fight, every strike, every roar is a test of who truly rules. The lion might sport the crown, but it's the tiger's raw strength, savage skill, and unstoppable will that claim the real throne.